Acrid is my favorite character, which is very surprising considering I'm autistic and my autistic obsession is dinosaurs. And it's pretty apparent why she's appealing to me, even though she's technically a Lemurian from the game's monster roster type deal. Or I don't know how to say the name, Lemurian? I don't know, the fucking geckos that grew legs. Yeah, I meant snakes. But what's very interesting to me is that I fell in love with her because of her design, and it's the reason why I picked her up, but I actually love her so much because of her gameplay. Something interesting about Risk of Rain is that they really try to mesh a lot of different playstyles into one character, where they're very unique because they have a mesh of different playstyles instead of making one character the tank, one character the flighty assassin, one character the generalist. You know, there's a lot of different characters in this game, and they try to mishmash different elements of these different archetypes into one character. Some characters are very blatantly this or that, like Artificer's a glass cannon, and the loader is the tank, and the generalist can be the commando. I don't think any other character, though, is a very good example of how they mishmash character designs than Acrid herself. Acrid is a relatively easy character to get. First hit a newt shrine, then go to the blue portal where you enter the bazaar between time. Once you enter the bazaar between time, you can turn around and walk past the blue portal to jump off the map. If you jump off the map, you will fall into the abyss. But on your way down, you might see this little cave that you can get into, which will have a purple portal that you can walk through. If you go through the purple portal, you will have to do 9 of these special little doohickeys. And once you're done charging them all up, you can get a red item at the end, and then you'll get Acrid. And there you go, now you have the tanky lady. The other one. Risk of Rain has its fair share of tanky characters. There's obviously Loader, I just talked about. There's Rex, and there is Multi. Acrid is very versatile where she incorporates a piece of each of these characters. If you want to heal like Rex, you can always get your third proc off with your auto attack. Wanna beat the shit out of that stupid, shit-faced, brain-dead piece of ceramic? Go slap him, like you would with Loader. Do you want to stay out of the action and keep yourself alive? Use your Poisonous Spit and your Pandemic, something you would do with someone like Multi. And of course, a lot of these characters have the same overlaps, and they have a lot of similar things together as well, but Acrid's my favorite character, so you can go suck my massive cock. Side note here, I gave my microphone the middle finger. I don't fucking know why, but I wanted you guys to know that. Like I said earlier, Acrid is very versatile, which comes down to how her kit works. Her passive gives her a unique status effect called Poison, which takes off a percentage of their health with each tick. Her auto attack is a slice, with her third attack giving her 5% of her health back. Her secondary ability is called Neurotoxin and is her only long-range ability except for her special. It is rather underwhelming, only doing a decent bit of damage and giving a stack of whatever your passive is. Her utility is one of the best in the game, giving her a leap in any direction, which is better than some characters like the Archer Lady, the Void Fiend, and the Captain, or maybe even the Artificer. They all have their ups and downs, but they're never as versatile as Acrid's utility. Acrid's utility can go any direction, and depending on your speed, can go over way longer distances. Yes, I know the Captain doesn't have a utility in the traditional sense, but I don't care. As long as this ability is active, she will not take any fall damage, as well as she will leave a puddle of poison that does 25% damage. Her special ability, Pandemic, will chain from enemy to enemy in a certain range, giving them each a stack of poison. The only downside to this is that they obviously have to be in a certain range, and they cannot be chained onto someone who already has the same Pandemic stack. But you can stack this with another Pandemic to do a boost of more damage. Now I hear that more seasoned players of Risk of Rain saying in the comments, "Yo, Acrid has 3 more abilities, dumbass." And to that I say, no fucking shit, dude, I'm getting there, man, chill. It's a video, bro. I still got another like 5 fucking minutes. Chill. Now, Acrid, like most other characters in this game, has unlockable abilities, depending on if you do achievements. I'm not going to go through every achievement that you have to do to unlock her, but if you hover over the locked ability, they will tell you how to do it. Currently, they have the Bite, the Blight, and the Frenzied Jump. Only 2 of these abilities are ones you would pick up if you actually want to play the game, or if you just want to fuck around. Blight and Frenzied Leap are very good for actually playing the game how Acrid is mostly intended, and Bite is an ability that exists for a very fun side grade that I'll tell you about later. Blight is a stacking ability that will actually kill enemies instead of just getting them all the way down to 1 health like Poison will. Frenzied Leap will reduce the cooldown per enemy hit on landing, and it also does more damage. These 2 are pretty viable side grades. Honestly, I don't use Frenzied Leap too much because it's very situational depending on how many enemies are near the landing zone. And personally, I prefer Poison because it does more damage technically, it just doesn't kill them. But I mean, it's personal preference. I personally run stock, but whatever makes the game more fun for you, go ahead and do. But these 2 can still build into the hit and run tank style of play. I've been saying hit and run style of play and all that, but what does that even mean? Well, it's a dumb term I coined myself, basically describing how she runs around doing infinite damage with her poison, stacking it up on the boss, while she carries a conga line of enemies behind her to keep in check with her pandemic. Eventually, once you get a boss low enough, you can finally run in with your auto attacks and leap and finish the boss off. But make sure to do it like a Riven main in League of Legends, i.e. being able to auto attack cancel. You can auto attack cancel in this game with most of the melee characters in the game by hitting shift when your auto attack is about to hit, which it's a very simple skill to get used to. It can vary a little bit depending on if you have soldier syringes or any attack speed altering items. For my veterans in the audience who haven't played since Survivors of the Void, you'll remember that Acrid used to have to choose between using her healing passive or getting a DPS buff. Now you do not have to choose either of those. Survivors of the Void changed that, so now you will always proc off your 3rd hit, even if you're doing the auto attack cancel. So there's literally no reason not to do auto attack cancel anymore. It's just a straight upgrade if you know how to do it. Now with a game like Risk of Rain, with a ton of items and all that, there are some items that are going to stand out better than others for certain characters. With this type of Acrid build, I would say 5 items really stand out in terms of usefulness. Deathmark, Tri-Tip Dagger, Gasoline, Ukulele, and Symbiotic Scorpion. With the Tri-Tip Dagger, the Gasoline, and the Symbiotic Scorpion, you have a built-in Deathmark with your poison. And the Ukulele is just to help with your pandemic, whittling down all those monsters, and honestly, Ukulele is just one of the better items in the entire game for literally every character. The Deathmark build largely just lets you forget how to use your brain and just toss it into the void. But speaking of the void items are largely not useful on Acrid in terms of like hugely very needed for this character. Void items are always kind of funny and they can be very good, like Plasma Shrimp can be very good on a multi, or like newly hatched Zoea on Engineer, or the Weeping Fungus on the Archer. All I could say is, in my recent game with her, I got the Corrupt Will-O-Wisps, which I'll put the name for it right now. I think it's called Corrupt Flame, and that one was very useful because with your Neurotoxin, you can kill stuff almost instantly, which can make your life a lot easier. Lysate Cell is very useful as well, with it giving you an extra special item for every fuel cell you get, which means you can stack up to, infinite amount of specials, which is very useful with Acrid, who is just spitting all the time. In terms of lunar items, there is only one item that is very useful on Acrid, and that is called the Visions of Heresy, which is in a different build. It is a special item that is used to build the Heretic, but it is also very useful on Acrid if you would prefer to play her as the run rather than the hit. I really like this build. It is very good for newer players who are trying to get into her, because it can really help you get used to how she is supposed to play normally and slowly get used to how she should play, because let's be honest here, she plays very weird and it's very confusing at first, and I know it took me a while to get used to it. Honestly, she doesn't have too much in the way of special items that would be very good for her when she's using the Visions of Heretic in specific, other than the normal proc items that you would see on any character. You know, ukulele, will-o-wisps, gasoline, like monster tooth necklace, like all these basic items that could be very useful for anyone. As well as equipments, they're pretty par for the course. Anything can really work except for... No, please. Don't. Don't do it. But what if you don't want to run? What if you just want to run head on into the enemy and stop running and start using the hit part of the hit and run? Well, this is where that meme build I told you about comes in for the hit and run, where you use Bite. Bite is a very, very good ability. The problem is you have no ranged options when the wisps and the blind pests start stacking up. In replacement, you get a lot of upfront tankiness and damage to deal with the tankier monsters. In terms of items, any tanky items will do, and any upfront damage items will do. Focus Crystal is your friend, and infusions, with Bison Steaks being your biggest friend as well. I'd say equipment is the best way to differentiate yourself from anyone else. You could either lean very hard into the tank buster playstyle, or into the tank, or into dealing with the wisps and the blind bitches that you're dealing with, trying to make up for your lack of strengths. If you're leaning into tank buster, I would recommend Royal Capacitor. If you're leaning into full tankiness, I would recommend either Jade Elephant or the Super Dildo. If you would prefer to make up for your weaknesses, then you can use the Disposable Missile Launcher, or you can use the backup, which will very much help you with the wisps and the blind peskers and the fucking bullshit that you want to fucking die from. Because those are so fucking annoying. I have lost too many fucking runs to these fucking tiny little wisps and these tiny... But that's honestly about it. Try out the character sometime for yourself if you haven't. Or if you don't have the game, please get it sometime. It's getting that time of year where everything on Steam's for sale. Please give it a shot if you haven't. It's an amazing game. It's worth every penny. Any criticism about this video you can leave in the comments. I read them all. And I really hope you consider subscribing from this video. But enough of the calls to action. Have a great day.